أهلا بكم وحلقة جديدة وخلينا نتكلم كورة برعاية اتش سبورتس جروب. وضيف جديد النهاردة معانا هو صاحب شركة كولور العملاقة المسؤولة عن تغذية أكثر من 100 نادي في إنجلترا ما بين الدرجات الأولى والأدنى. معانا النهاردة دكتور توم ليتل. Tom, welcome with us today.
Thank you very much, Hossam. Really delighted to be invited on the show and very excited about ColourFit's partnership with the HH Sports Group. Hopefully we can do some fantastic things to elevate sport within the Middle East region and bring it towards to the UK and all your ambitions. So really excited to be partnered with you.
All right, thank you very much. So هنبدأ بالسؤال الأول. ما هي مكونات الوجبة الغذائية لفريق كرة القدم قبل المباراة وبعد المباراة؟ وإيه اللي اللاعبين بياخدوه بين الشوطين ودرجة حرارة المية المفروض يشربوها؟ وإيه دور شرب الشاي والقهوة قبل الماتش؟ ده من الكابيتانو هشام مشارك معانا المرة دي. So, Tom, so we got what ingredients for a football player before and after the game?
So for a footballer, energy and power are so important to performance. So round matches, we're very much concentrating on optimizing performance to the maximum levels. So that requires fuel for our body to burn, to create the energy to movement. And fuel for a footballer is carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are things like bread, rice, pasta, cereals, whole grains. And these are really important because they're our most efficient and most powerful fuel source. So it's like putting the best kind of petrol into your car to make it faster and make it run for longer. So before a game, we want to bring up these carbohydrate levels. So we'd be looking around 6 to 8 grams per kilogram of your body weight to take on the day before and leading up to a game. So that's going to help us start with really high fuel tanks. So it's been proven we'll be able to run further, we'll be able to sprint quicker, and we'll recover. And we'll also be able to make better decisions because our brain's fuel is carbohydrates. So we're less likely to become injured, and we will have better skills if we have high carbohydrate levels to go on during the game. Yeah. After the game, we kind of depleted. So all our carbohydrates has been used, but in football in particular, we're going to have to train and have another game soon. So we want to take back on carbohydrates, and our muscles are like a sponge. They've been used up and they can really take on carbohydrates quickly. So again, we want to be looking to have quite high carbohydrates after the game. From a football match or any hard exercise, we'll also create muscle damage from using our muscles and intense activities. And our muscles are made of protein. So protein is things like meats, fish, it's contained in dairy, and it's quite a high proportion of beans and nuts and seeds. So we want to take on protein as well because that will go into our muscles and repair our muscles so our muscles can function to the highest level again quite quickly.
Brilliant. طيب هو دلوقتي بيقول قبل الماتش المفروض نركز على الكربوهيدرات، حاجات زي السيريال مثلا، يعني حاجات زي كده بتديك العيش، الرز، المكرونه، الحاجات دي بتدي لك طاقه كبيره جدا. انت زي ما بيقول بتحط البنزين الصح لجسمك عشان يقدر يدي لك الطاقه، وان انت عقلك يفكر بالطريقه السليمه، رد فعلك يبقى سريع وتأدي بالطريقه كويسه. بيقول بعد الماتش انت بتبقى طاقتك قليله جدا، فبتحتاج كربوهيدرات تاني، وفي نفس الوقت بتحتاج انت عضلاتك بتتدمر تقريبا في خلال الماتش وبيحصل لها دامج شويه، فبتحتاج ان انت تاخد حاجات زي حاجات فيها بروتين عشان تعوض الخلايا او الانسجه اللي حصل لها ضرر في خلال الماتش. حاجات زي بيقول زي اللحمه طبعا او البينز مثلا بالنسبه اللي هي الحبوب يعني بالنسبه للخضار. Great. What should a player eat or drink during halftime? Do they need to do at all?
So at halftime, we would like to. There's two things during that first half. We'll have used carbohydrates, so our fuel tanks will be lower, and we'll also be slightly dehydrated. So from increased breathing and sweating, we will lost fluids from our bodies, and both these things can lead to suboptimal performance. So we want to replenish some of our carbohydrates that we've lost and also some of our fluids that we've lost. And a very easy way of doing that is taking on a sports drink. So any drink that contains fluid and under 10% sugar is the level that you're looking for. So you'll have brands like Lucasade and Gatorade, Science and Sport, or any supplement company will provide specific sports drinks. So they'll have fluids in, they'll have sugars in to help our carbohydrates, and they also have something in called electrolytes. So we lose electrolytes through our sweat. So we get, again, it helps if we replenish them through the drinks. In professional sports as well, there's other foods and supplements that we might use. So energy gels are really popular. So they will contain, in a very small sample that's not going to fill your belly up, around 20 grams of carbohydrate. Fruit is also a really good source of carbohydrate that's easy to digest. So things like bananas, dried fruit, any kind of berries can be really good at replenishing those carbohydrate sources, but not making us feel too full, so we can't run around and feel bloated.
Brilliant. بيقول بين الشوط سألنا اللي احنا بين الشوطين ايه اللي ممكن ناكله او نشربه، فهو بيقول انت جسمك طبعا فقدت طاقه كبيره جدا في الشوط الاول، وفي نفس الوقت من العرق فقدت ميه كتير جدا، فلازم تشرب ولازم تاخد حاجات فيها سكريات. بيقول في نفس الوقت مش لازم تاخد حاجه تملى لك بطنك، يعني اللي هو في مثلا حاجات زي الجل موجود دلوقتي، حاجات بيبقى بس 20 جرام مش اكتر، بيعوض لك طبعا الحاجات دي بسرعه. في شركات رياضيه كتيره جدا، في مشروبات رياضيه برضو معروفه في العالم كله دلوقتي، يعني ناخد حاجه كويسه منهم عشان تعوض لك الطاقه وفي نفس الوقت تعوض لك الميه. وبيقول في نفس الوقت بالنسبه للاكل ما ينفعش ان احنا ناكل حاجه تملى لنا بطننا وما نقدرش نجري، فممكن مثلا موز مثلا او مثلا بطيخ او حاجه كده. الحاجات دي ممكن بتساعدك جدا ان انت ترجع لك الطاقه في نفس الوقت ترجع لك الميه او السوائل اللي جسمك فقدها. Great. Another question, say there's any ideal temperature for drinking water during a training session or a game?
There isn't an absolute ideal temperature. Most of the time, if a drink is cool, so just around room temperature to slightly chilled, that's going to be optimum. So that can be dependent on where you're playing. So if you're in a very hot and humid region and you've been sweating quite a lot and you're in danger of overheating from the heat created from exercise, then a chilled drink can be really beneficial, because two things. Number one, it tastes more palatable, so you're more likely to take on more fluids, which is fantastic. But it also has the effect of cooling the body at the same time. So when we become too hot, messages from our brain tell us to stop exercising. So if we're able to cool the body at the same time, but by a pouring drink on the back of the head, we can lower our core temperature, and that the brain allows us to exercise further then. Hot drinks in general, if it's for trying to rehydrate the body, they're not optimal really, because they have increased air inside them and can make the belly feel bloated and burp, so you don't feel comfortable exercising. So in general, just a nice cool drink is the optimum.
Thank you. وبيقول ما فيش درجة حرارة معينة، ولكن هو بيفضل درجة حرارة الغرفة أو درجة أو كل ما يكون المية باردة شوية بتبقى أفضل، لأن طبعا بيقول لازم نتجنب المية السخنة، لأن المية السخنة بيبقى فيها هواء، الهواء ده بيحسك إن أنت بطنك مليان أو جسمك مليان، بتحتاج تطلع الهواء ده، ما بتقدرش تتحرك بحرية. وفي نفس الوقت بيقول إن العقل بيدي إشارات لما درجة حرارة الجسم بتسخن، العقل بيدي إشارات للجسم إن هو يوقف تمرين. فلازم احنا يعني زي ما تشوفوا الناس مثلا بتدلق ميه ساقعه على دماغها طبيعي، لا دي حاجه صحيه جدا وكويسه جدا. بيقول في مصر او في الدول العربيه طبعا درجه الحراره عاليه، فالافضل ان انت تشرب ميه ساقعه. بيقول لك ده كويس، ده بيطر على جسمك وبيخليك ان انت تقدر تكمل التمرين كويس. Alright, so the effect of drinking tea or coffee before a game, are you with or against?
I'm certainly with in the main. So the reason tea and coffee have become interest to what before exercise performance is they contain something called caffeine. Now, caffeine is a natural stimulant that is found in teas, coffees, chocolate, cocoa, and it's been found caffeine to a certain level will improve your performance. So in general, the main thing is it just makes exercise feel easier than it generally would through effects it has on the brain. But it has other effects that allow us to exercise for longer and operate generally more powerfully. So it's like quicker. We have better decision making as well because the brain, everything just functions on a slightly elevated level. But the effect of caffeine is very highly individual. So for some people, it would work really well. For some people, it may not work. And the optimum level of caffeine, again, is quite individual. So this would be something that you would need to test on yourself. So you wouldn't do it the first time before an important match. It's something you need to try in training, test different regimes of the amount of caffeine you're taking on and see what feels good for you. The general advice is that between 100 milligrams and 200 milligrams will have a really beneficial effect on your body. So that's almost 2 strong cups of coffee.
Okay.
Tea is around 30 milligrams, so you'd need over 3 cups of tea within a 3-hour period. You can have tablets, so things like cans of Red Bull would contain around 80 milligrams. So a coffee and a Red Bull would certainly set you in that region. There can be negative effects of caffeine though. So caffeine can dehydrate you and it can also cause problems with sleep. So if you're taking on caffeine late at night, you can have trouble sleeping later on. And obviously in professional football, a lot of games start at night. So that's something that you have to weigh up. But even with those things, the vast majority of footballers that I work with will take caffeine before a game because they do feel the benefit. The final thing to say that is, it depends on how much you normally drink coffee. So I know in particular in the Middle East, strong coffee is a huge part of the culture. So if you habitually most days have strong coffee, having caffeine before a game is not going to have a big effect because your body is just used to it. On the opposite end, if you're someone who is very sensitive to caffeine, you don't want to have too much because it can overstimulate, so you become, your decision making is confused and cloudy, and the effects of dehydration and things like that overcome, and you can get cramps, muscle cramps as well. So
excellent.
It's good, but everyone is an individual.
That's true. اوكي، هو بيقول دلوقتي بالنسبه للشاي والقهوه، احنا سالناه طبعا بين الشوطين او سوري قبل الماتشات، الشاي والقهوه ايه اهميتهم او دورهم. هو الراجل بيقول ان هم مهمين جدا. طبعا القهوه فيها نسبه كافيين اعلى كتير من الشاي. الشاي فيه حوالي 30 جرام كافيين، القهوه فيها 100 تقريبا 100 جرام كافيين. فهو بيقول طبعا بيساعدك جدا انت تعمل قرارات الصح وبيدي لك طاقه كويسه وبيخليك فايق، ولكن طبعا ليه اثار سلبيه ان هو بينشف جسمك ديهايدريشن، وفي نفس الوقت ان هو بيخليك ما بيساعدكش ان انت تنام بعد الماتش. يعني بالنسبه للاعيبه المحترفين بروفيشنال فوتبول بلاير اللي هو اشتغل معاهم الماتشات بالليل، طبعا دي بيبقى صعب جدا ان هم يناموا بعد الماتش، ولكن مع ذلك كل الناس بتصر وبيحبوا القهوه لانها مفيده جدا. طبعا بيقول النسبه اللي ممكن ناخدها هي 100 ل 200 جرام، دول بيبقوا كفايه جدا من الكافيين. يعني حوالي كوبايتين قهوه، من كوبايه لكوبايتين قهوه، او من حوالي على الاقل 3 كوبايات شاي في ظرف 3 ساعات قبل الماتش. ولكن بيقول نقطه ثانيه مهمه، لو انت مش متعود على القهوه او الشاي ما تجازفش وتاخدهم في ماتش مهم قبل ماتش مهم. لو انت مش متعود عليهم ما تجربش في الماتش ده. يعني بيقول جرب في التمرين وتعود وشوف، لان هي بتاثر من واحد لواحد، بتفرق جدا. في واحد متعود عليها، اللي متعود عليها دي ما بتفرقش معاه في النتيجه، ما بتجيش يعني. انما اللي مش متعود عليها او حساس ليها دي بتبقى ممكن خطر ليه جدا، وممكن تعمل له كرامبس خلال الماتشات، لان طبعا زي ما قلنا بتنشف الجسم، ما بيبقاش فيه سوائل زياده في الجسم، فممكن بتسبب له كرامبس للاسف يعني. هروح على السؤال الثاني عندنا من اسامه سيكا. وعندنا مكونات الوجبه الغذائيه تختلف من سن الى سن اخر. are nutritional requirements different for different ages, Tom?
Generally, a healthy diet is important at all ages, but I have different priorities depending on the age groups that I'm working with. So young players, children up to adolescence through to puberty, your main concern there, if they're an athlete and they're already very active and they've got to grow as well, making sure they get enough energy, enough calories is your main concern. They are burning energy all the time and they need the extra energy to keep growing, to form their bones properly, to form their joints properly, all the things that help us to mature into a full-grown, strong athlete when they're older. So the main thing is making sure they're eating frequently enough. So you're not worried about health as much as you are with older people. So you're not overly concerned, are they getting enough vegetables, enough salads and things and fruit? What you're concentrating on is overall energy. Are they eating frequently enough? And are they just getting enough energy within their diet to support their growth? Once they're in kind of late adolescence up to early adulthood, so around 18 to 23, health becomes slightly more important, but they are still able to function at a high level without necessarily being super healthy. They can almost cheat, they're young, they can get away with a worse diet. So again, I just want in that period where they're starting to look after themselves and cook for themselves, I want to concentrate on improving slightly their health within their diet. So starting introducing slightly more vegetables and salads into their diet. The main things I try and focus on is improved breakfast choices, so they're not just having sugary cereals in the morning, and their snack choices as well. Again, not just highly dense sugar processed snacks all the time, having things that are more healthy, whole-based, the likes of fruit, increasing them. And then finally, as an athlete gets older, so older than 23 into their 30s, the body finds it harder to recover, and it's more and more important that you provide them with nutrients that will help them recover quickly, keep inflammation as low as possible, and allow them to elongate their career. So you really start to focus on health, so increase vegetables, salads, fruits, whole foods, so nuts, grains, rice, pastas, good quality meat. And that will then allow them to recover quickly, but it'll also extend the years that they're able to play in the career. And you find players at the latter stages of their career, they really take a high importance in their diet and wish they'd start a more nutritious diet earlier on.
طيب هو قسمها دلوقتي بثلاث مراحل. بيقول المرحلة الأولى اللي هي للطفل الصغير أو للناشئ، وده بالنسبة له ما تقولوش تاكل إيه وما تاكلش إيه، سيبه ياكل اللي هو عايزه، ياكل كتير، ما عندوش مشاكل من ان هو وزنه يزيد او الكلام ده كله لانه محتاج طاقه، بس خليه طبعا حاول تديله الحاجات الكويسه، الحاجات الصحيه، لان دي هتفيده، ولكن في نفس الوقت خليه ياكل الحلويات والحاجات اللي بيحبها، مفيش مشاكل خالص. بيقول المرحله اللي بعد كده من 18 ل 23 حاول نركز على برضه طبعا انت محتاج لسه تاكل حاجات كتير وممكن تاكل فاست فود والكلام ده كله، مفيش مشاكل خالص، والانرجي درينكس، ولكن حاول ان انت تتفادى الحاجات الصبح اللي هي فيها سكريات كتير على الفطار، يعني على الاقل خلي الفطار بتاعك صحي، ولكن نسبه الحرق في جسمك جسمك هيتفاعل كويس والاستشفاء بتاعته بتبقى كويسه جدا. ف 18 23 لسه يعني بين البنين زي ما بنقوله. في بعد كده المرحله الاخيره اللي هي من 23 ل 30 سنه، بيقول دي مرحله خطره شويه، لان دي لازم الجسم شويه بيبدا رد فعله بيبقى مختلف شويه، الالتهابات بتزيد، فانت لازم تركز على نوعيه الاكل اللي انت بتاكلها، يعني ركز على الخضار والسلطات، وطبعا النوع اللحمه كويس، يعني بيقول اللحمه مهمه جدا، والكربوهيدرات طبعا، كل الحاجات دي، ولكن يعني انت عارف جسمك كويس، فيعني حاول تبقى حذر شويه معاه، لان عشان الالتهابات ممكن بتزيد في السن دي. Great. Another question, personal question. A guy said, معانا كابتن ميمي غنيم، بيقول ابني لاعب كرة مواليد 2004 بس جسمه قليل، محتاج ايه؟ He said his son is 16 physically. He is not a big player. What does he need?
Similar to what I said before, so it depends exactly where he is in his maturation cycle. So people that are still growing, the main concern is if you want them to be bigger, are they getting a sufficient energy within their diet? So are they eating a healthy meal 3 times a day, and are they having good snacks 2 to 4 times a day? We want to be supporting their energy levels all through the day and giving steady streams of protein. So protein is what is going to make it makes all our cells. So anything, any way that we grow, but in particular our muscles, that's going to be related to protein. But you need to, in order to grow, you must be taking on more calories than you're burning. So if this young man is 16 and he's a footballer, he's burning a lot of calories. So we need to make sure he's having a good meal for breakfast, at midday and dinner, and then we're supporting him with good snacks in between at least 2 times. So there's no particular foods that you'd say this is most important. It's just eating regularly and good wholesome nutrition quite often. Genetics is just a big thing. If he's not genetically meant to be big, I'm not big and I'm never going to be a big player. You can't force somebody's genetics to become big. But what a small player can do, they can use their increased speed and agility to compensate for not being big. And you look at the great teams of the world, Barcelona, they're not a big team. So you don't have to over focus on being a big person. And all footballers should be lean, because they have to carry their body weight around when they run and jump. So being lean is really important as a footballer, and being big is not a prerequisite to being a footballer.
Okay. طيب هو دلوقتي بيقول اولا بالنسبه للجسم القليل او نسبه الجسم الكبير، الاثنين موجودين والموضوع جينات مش اكتر. ولو هو الجينات بتاعته كده مش هينفع ان انت تكبر له جسمه. هو اللي ممكن نشتغل عليه هو العضلات، ان احنا نخلي جسمه اقوى، ولكن جسمه برضو ان هو حجمه يزيد دي هتبقى صعبه جدا لان ده موضوع جيني بحت. بيقول يعني لو اللعيب الصغير دايما بتلاقي عنده المهاره احسن والسرعه افضل، زي ما شفنا مثلا برشلونه، بيدي مثال برشلونه. يعني ما هم كانوا اشتغلوا وكبروا جسمهم، بس هم يعني هم الافضل ليهم ان هم يبقوا كده لان جسمهم متكون كده. بيقول السن 16 سنه ولاعيب كوره ده بيحرق كتير جدا، فلازم تديله كالوريز اكتر من اللي بيحرقها، تديله طاقه او كالوريز، يعني تديله اكتر من اللي هو بيحرقها. تركز عليه 3 وجبات و2 سناكس خلال اليوم، لازم ضروري جدا عشان ان هو يقدر يعمل ريكفري كويس لجسمه. معانا يو عاشور، دي لاعبة كرة قدم. هل فعلا النظام الغذائي المعتمد بشكل كبير وأساسي على العناصر النباتية هو الأفضل واللي بينصح بيه؟ So Tom, we talk about a vegetarian diet. Is that better for a player? Do you recommend it?
Sorry, it just cut up there, Hossam. Could you repeat that question?
Yeah, sorry. The vegetarian diet. Do you think you recommend it? Is that better for a player or not? That's a question from a girl.
Yeah, a vegetarian diet, I would never not recommend a vegetarian diet. So a vegetarian diet can certainly support an athlete and perform to a very, very high level. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that a diet containing meat and dairy is a less healthy diet. The science shows that overall, an omnivore diet that contains meat, dairy, and vegetarian sources is still the most optimum diet. So just focusing on meat. Meat can be a really important source, number one, of protein. So protein, I mentioned, it's a building blocks for all our cells and our muscles, which is very important for athletes. It also contains elements of minerals that are really important for overall health and athletes, things like magnesium, iron, zinc, selenium. Really good sources come from meat. Healthy fats as well, so there's something called omega-3 fats that are very important. They're mainly found in oily fish. Now, you can find these things in a vegetarian diet, but sometimes not at the optimum level. So a vegetarian diet has to carefully be planned so it substitutes for those things that you're not going to get from your meat. Now, a vegetarian rather than a vegan can eat eggs. Eggs are a fantastic source of protein, minerals, and vitamins. And you can get a lot of the things that you can from meat, from eggs, so they're great. Now, the thing with a vegetarian diet is why I would promote it, is a vegetarian diet is typically really high in elements that are brilliant for our health. So things that we've mentioned lots of times, vegetables, salads, fruits, things that are very high in vitamins and minerals and something called phytonutrients that help us stay fit and healthy. And we can get these other elements from vegetarian sources. So things like nuts and seeds are really good for proteins and good fats and minerals. But it has to be more carefully planned if you're vegetarian or vegan. You can't just all of a sudden stop eating meat and then just follow the same diet that you were following before. It won't work. You have to carefully plan your diet to get all the nutrients that you need.
هو بيقول النظام الغذائي الفيجيتيريان او النباتي طبعا ده حاجه كويسه وصحيه جدا، ولكن ما ينفعش. انا هبدا من الاخر اللي هو قاله. ما ينفعش لو انت متعود على تاكل لحمه او فراخ او كل الحاجات التانية وبعدين فجاه تقول انا هقرر نباتي. ده طبعا خطر جدا، لان جسمك هينقصه حاجات كتير جدا. في حاجات تعويضيه للبروتين اللي انت بتاخده من اللحمه، ولكن هو يعني بيقول ان برضه مش بنفس الكفاءه. يعني مثلا في الحديد الايرون موجود مثلا في اللحمه، ده مهم جدا وصعب ان انت تاخده من النظام النباتي. ولكن في مثلا البيض، مثلا البيض بيقول نسبه البروتين فيه عاليه جدا وبتعوض الى حد كبير البروتين اللي انت بتاخده من اللحمه. ولكن الخلاصه هو بيقول العلم اثبت ان المزيج افضل. يعني انت لازم تاكل خضار ولازم تاكل لحمه، يعني هي الطبيعه بتقول لك كده. فيعني اللي عايز يبقى فيجيتيريان طبعا يبقى فيجيتيريان، مفيش مشاكل، ولكن هو راجل بيرشح ان تعمل الميكس بين الاثنين، ولكن لو مضطر في حاجات كتير تعويضيه يعني. Great. The rest of the question say, and if so, in Egypt, normal diet includes beef, lamb, chicken. How can we still eat meat without affecting our mood, energy levels, or body shape? I thought you've answered that already. That it's not a must. Like we don't have to go vegetarian, right? I mean, you recommend the mix.
Yeah, I would recommend a mix as being the most healthy based on science, but that's not to say a vegetarian diet can't really support them. The one facet with that is red meats. So red meats are our beef, our lamb, anything to do with steak and the likes. Now, red meats, they're good in one way in terms of the very good source of iron. So iron is important for carrying oxygen in our body and therefore great for supporting performance and energy. But within red meats, it also contains higher levels of something called saturated fat. Now, saturated fat is bad for a couple of things. So saturated fat is something that can, if we have too much of it, it can block our arteries and lead to things like heart problems, stroke. And it also contains, any fats contain a large amount of energy, calories. So if we ate any food that had a lot of fat in it and ate that quite often, we're going to have a lot of calories and we're more likely to put on weight. But that is mainly things like white meat, so chicken, turkey, and fish tend to be lower in fats. So red meats are fine long as we don't have them every single day of the week. Ideally, we're going to look between about 2 to 3 times a week in terms of our red meat consumption.
مليان. طيب هو دلوقتي بقية السؤال كان بيقول لو في حد مجبر انه ياكل لحمه وفراخ بطبيعه الحياه هنا في مصر، ازاي يقدر يتناول الاكل ده من غير ما ياثر على ادائه او حالته النفسيه وشكل جسمه؟ هو راجل جاوب السؤال ده اوريدي وقال ان هو مش هيقول لك انت مضطره تبقى فيجيتيريان او تاكلي، مع ان هو بيقول ان طبعا نظام صحي وكويس وكل حاجه، ولكن العلم اثبت ان الميكس هو افضل حاجه، المزيج بين الاثنين. عندك اللحمه الحمراء زي مثلا اللام اللي هو لحم في البيف واللام، لحم الخرفان يعني سوري الضاني، يعني انا معلش ترجمه شويه، الضاني واللحمه البيف العاديه دول طبعا فيهم نسبه حديد عاليه جدا، ولكن في نفس الوقت فيهم دهون غير مرغوب فيها للجسم، ودي اللي ممكن بتسبب في العمر المتقدم، بتسبب مشاكل زي انسداد الشرايين والحاجات دي. ولكن في نفس الوقت الناحيه الثانيه اللي هو اللحم الابيض زي مثلا التركي، الديك الرومي والفراخ، الحاجات دي طبعا فيها نسبه بروتين عاليه جدا وبتساعد تبني الجسم. هو بيقول المفروض النسبه الافضل اللي هي تكون 3 مرات مثلا في الاسبوع، ده كويس. ان هو مش لو انت كل يوم بالليل هتاكل ستيك، ده طبعا مش كويس ليك خالص، لان كده هيبقى شويه زياده عليك يعني. طيب، وطبعا يفضل انه يقول لنا تنظيم الوجبات مع كل تمرين، يعني قبل وبعد التمرين، نجم الكورة اللعيبه يعملوا ايه قبل وبعد الماتشات. لو في يوم ما فيش تمرين هيكون راحه سلبيه او مش سلبيه، مثلا يوجا او استرتشات، يفضل ناكل ايه؟ اوكي. We've got another question from the same lady. Say, what should we focus on during the following? Before and after: physical exercise including lifting, normal football training sessions, fitness sessions, games, and apart from that it will be rest days like yoga sessions, for example.
I think we covered before what to have when we answered what to have before and after games, what we should generally have in training. So we want to have more carbohydrates before hard training, and then once we finish training we want to replenish our carbohydrates and repair our muscles. So that's more carbohydrates and protein once we've trained. Now, we teach something called carbohydrate periodization, and that has a term called fuel for the work required. So quite simply, that most of the time we want a balanced diet. So we'll have some carbohydrates, some protein, and some food to give us health. But we want to bias carbohydrates depending on whether we're working hard or we're not working hard. So when we're training hard or going to perform a competition or a match, we want to increase our amount of carbohydrates. So that's going to optimize our performance levels. But when we're not training hard, so our days off, or we might be doing something simple like stretching that was mentioned there that doesn't have a high energy demand, that's when we need to lessen our amount of carbohydrates and increase our amount of healthy foods and high protein foods that are going to help us stay lean and also going to maximize our health. And in that way, we're getting the 3 main important things when it comes to nutrition. We can perform really well when we need to as an athlete for training and competition. We can also stay lean and we can also optimize our health.
طيب، هو راجل بيقول احنا جاوبنا الموضوع ده قبل كده ولكن هنجاوبه تاني، اللي هو ايه اللي تاخده قبل الماتشات او قبل التمارين او الكلام ده كله. هو بيقول كربوهيدرات تاني، بيقول قبل كل تمرين لان الجسم محتاج الكلام ده، لان ده زي ما بنقول البنزين اللي جسمك بيحتاجه. وبيقول في ايام الراحه وطبعا وبعد التمارين ان انت محتاج بروتين وكربوهيدرات تاني عشان تعوض المشاكل اللي حصلت او الضرر اللي حصل لجسمك من خلال التمرين، من نقص سوائل، بتحتاج ان انت سلطات او خضار، وطبعا الضرر اللي حصل للعضلات بتحتاج بروتين، ونقص الطاقه اللي عندك بتحتاج كربوهيدرات. وبالنسبه لايام الراحه عندك بيقول ان انت حاول تاكل صحي لان انت ما بتحرقش في الايام دي، فحاول تعوض يبقى النظام بتاعك صحي اكتر، اللي هو خضار وسلطه، وطبعا اللحمه اللي هي بنسب كويسه. كويس. هل التغذيه بتختلف من ولد لبنت؟ So another question: are there different nutritional requirements for male and females?
Broadly answering, there's not big differences that you need between males and females. Females in generally require less calories because just in generally they're smaller and they have less muscle mass and less testosterone. So that just means they just burn less energy through their daily living. So, but if you had a female that was exactly the same size as a male and had the same muscle mass, they would require roughly the same amount of calories. The difference is just in the general size when it comes to males and females. There's also considerations around the menstruation cycle. So when a female is losing blood because of her periods, she's going to lose iron as part of that, because iron is a big form of our blood. So that's really important in terms of our energy levels and important to our immunity as well. So when a female is going through this part of her menstruation period, she may want to take on more iron. So as I mentioned, you can get that from red meats, and you can also get it from things like green leafy vegetables, so like salad, spinach, or things like that. Also, to help iron absorption, if you have vitamin C containing foods at the same time, it helps you absorb more of that iron. So things like citrus fruits, so any berries, any oranges of the likes, tomatoes are a great source of vitamin C. They will help you absorb more of that iron at the same time.
Brilliant. Thank you. طيب دلوقتي احنا سألنا عن التغذية بتختلف من ولد وبنت. هو قال لا، الموضوع بيبقى واحد، نفس اللي الولد يعني عموما نفس الولد بيحتاجه البنت بتحتاجه، ولكن البنت عموما بتحتاج كالوريز اقل او بتحتاج سعرات حراريه اقل. ولكن هو جاوب برضو السؤال اللي بعده اللي هو ازاي يتم التعامل مع التغذيه اللاعبات في فترات التغير الهرموني عند احساس الجوع الشديد او عدم الرغبه في تناول الطعام. وهو جاوب في حته التغير الهرموني، بيقول ان البنت في احيانا بتفقد دم كتير من جسمها، والتعويض طبعا بتحتاج اللحمه الحمراء عشان بيبقى فيها نسبه حديد كويس. ولو هي مش بتحب اللحمه، في ممكن تعوض الكلام ده عن طريق السبانخ مثلا، او في حاجات فيها كتير فيتامين سي زي مثلا طبعا البرتقال والطماطم. اي حاجه فيها فيتامين سي طبعا الحاجات دي بتبقى مفيده جدا عشان تعوض النسبه اللي هي بتفقدها في فترات التغير الهرموني بتاع البنت. Alright, there's another question to him. So for a female player, how can they deal with their nutrition and diet during times where the hormones may be changed? I've just answered that now. You said it about the yeah. So, for example, they are more or less hungry or require lots of sugars. We haven't answered this one.
In terms of requiring more sugars, there's not really an actual requirement for more sugar at the time. It's more of a feeling of desiring certain foods. So similar to when you're pregnant, variations in hormone levels to do with estrogen and progesterone can affect our feelings towards food. So we crave more quick fixes in terms of energy at certain points within menstruation, which crave us more sugary type foods. We don't actually need those foods. It's better if we take on a food that has a slower release than sugar. So things like healthy snacks, fruit, dried fruit, I know is popular within the Middle East, things like dates, things that will release energy on a slower level because it contain more fiber than just having sugar in them, will be a better option and keep those hunger pangs away for longer.
So it's a more mental thing than actual needs.
A little bit. It's like for men, when men are tired, you just crave sugary snacks.
I do personally.
You try and fight that. It's that kind of feeling. You don't actually need the sugar. It just changes in your body.
طيب هو دلوقتي بنقول ان احنا كان السؤال بيقول الرغبه الشديده في تناول الحلويات بالنسبه للبنات. هو بيقول ان ده طبعا دي حاجه في يعني زي ما بيقول نفسيه اكتر منها حقيقيه. الجسم مش محتاج الكلام ده خالص، انت بس نفسيا بتبقى زي ما انسان يبقى ملان او زهقان او كده، فبيحب ان هو عايز ياكل كتير او عايز ياكل حلويات او شوكولاته. فبيقول ده الحاجات دي ممكن نتغلب عليها بان احنا ناخد حاجات سناكس صغيره. ممكن ناخد مثلا نفس الحاجات اللي تدينا سكر ولكن في الفاكهه، زي مثلا اول فاكهه الدراي فروت، يعني اللي هي مثلا زي موجوده في زي البلح مثلا او الحاجات التمر مثلا او الحاجات دي، يقول فيها سكريات كفايه وفي نفس الوقت مش مضره ومش هتسبب مشاكل للجسم. Great, that was the last question. We have another question, say the full program we can follow for female player. I believe we pretty much covered that during the questions. Well, that was the last question, Tom. Do you want to say anything, any general advice you want to say, or do you want to tell us a little bit about where nutrition came from or when it became important?
I think nutrition at the moment is having a real renaissance and a high promotion. So certainly when I started 20 years ago, most clubs would not have a nutritionist. So certainly within the Premier League now, you'll just see most clubs have either a full-time or a part-time nutritionist on their staff. And I think that's just reflecting the increased significance that nutrition is seen within overall performance of our athletes. So I always live by the good nutrition. It won't take someone who's not a good player and make them an elite player. But if your nutrition is not good, it can really hamper you reaching your overall potential and certainly decrease how long your career will last. And that we see great players going on way into their 30s now. And a huge part of that is their diet. Players like Ronaldo, they have such real good supportive diets. And significance within the clubs is reflected in that. So clubs now will spend a lot of money on providing food for their players. A lot of players now have personal chefs. So I know Mo Salah, who's a huge star within the Middle East, he has just got his own personal chef. And that's very important so they can have the culture of the food that they really enjoy as well. People take that, no matter where they're from, they take that throughout their lives. And Middle Eastern cuisine is obviously delicious and can support a really healthy diet. So yeah, it's a really important part of your diet that will have really important effects on how well that you play and how long you can play for. And therefore, it's something I advise everybody to just try and learn. Doesn't have to be complex, just learn one or two really good meals that you can make different varieties of during the week and you'll be pretty much there.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So هو الراجل بيقول دلوقتي ان من 20 سنة لما هو بدأ المجال ده، مجال التغذية او nutrition، ما كانش منتشر بدرجة كبيرة في كورة. بيقول حاليا بنشوف الأندية طبعا كلها مهتمة وعندهم الشيف الخاص بتاعهم، بيصرفوا فلوس كتيرة جدا على برامج التغذية. عشان كده بنشوف لعيبة في سن كبير، يعني بصوا الأندية الكبيرة دلوقتي مثلا رونالدو ده في سن واحد يعني كبير 35 سنة، أو بصوا إبراموفيتش مثلا، الناس دي كبيرة جدا ولكن في نفس الوقت عندهمش أي مشاكل صحية ولا جسدية، وده العامل الأكبر فيه شايف إن هو للتغذية بتاعتهم. بيضرب مثال بمحمد صلاح. طبعا صلاح بيقول إن هو عنده الشيف الخاص بيه، وده اللي وصله للي هو بيلعب كل الماتشات دي في السنة بدون إصابة. ما شاء الله، ربنا يحفظك يا صلاح. بنشكر دكتور توم ليتل صاحب شركة كولور فيت النهاردة بالمعلومات الجميلة اللي اداها لنا المفيدة جدا. Tom, thank you very much for your time today, and it's really been a pleasure, and it's really useful information. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for the invite. I enjoyed the questions, and hopefully we can have a great partnership and bring Colour Fit and better nutrition around the Middle East region.
Brilliant. Thank you. نشكركم كلكم، إن شاء الله تشوفونا المرة الجاية مع حلقة جديدة وضيف جديد، ويلا مع السلامة.